Yeah.
There's setback restrictions and distances from the center point of the street. We're following all those rules.
And one last question. The property up north of it, do they have a roof garden?
I don't think so. I've been up on their roof to look back down on our lot, and it's just a lot of air conditioning compressors up there. We are going to have a rooftop deck, which will be nice for the tenants to be able to go up and take in the views.
Yeah, I like the whole roof garden idea. I think it should be bigger, just in my opinion. But I know you have other things on top of it, including space for solar panels and also AC.
Right.
Is there going to be some kind of screening on the AC?
Yeah, a screen.
If
You-
you're noticeable from a distance, yeah.
Yeah, well, in that area, we're going to be one of the tallest buildings, so I guess if you were flying over, you would see the air conditioners, but to see it from the road is going to be unlikely. And so, yeah, it's, the only person I suppose you would want to screen it would be the people using the rooftop deck, and,
Yeah, or, you don't want anybody to get in there and mess around with it.
Right. Those would be all security issues that we have with the tenants, and, I'd like to think they're going to take good care of it.
Okay,
Move to approve.
Do we have any objections from any other council members? All right, so you're looking for,
22, all two-bedroom. It might be in the, yeah.
fair enough. So then, Carino, if he gets you the letter of support, you can sign it, you can bring it by, and I'll sign it, then we'll be good on that?
yeah, we're good.
All right, so the move to approve, the motion to approve 8C was made by Mr. Robbins. Do I have a second? Second. With that, I call for the vote. Mr. Secretary.
Just a second. Okay. President Thomas.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin.
Yes.
Secretary Hendry, yes. Treasurer Hop.
Aye.
Ms. Savard.
Yes.
Ms. Meyer.
Yes.
Mr. Lesrovitz.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Not here.
She left.
I don't see Ms. Skelton.
She walked
Okay.
out like usual.
She left.
Mr. Camara.
Yes.
Mr. Anand.
Yes.
Mr. De La Cuesta.
Yes,
Ms. Padden.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Luna. Okay. Mr. Marabi.
not here.
She left.
Not here. Okay. Ms. Raines. Mr. Robbins.
Thank you for being a good Van Nuys neighbor. Yes.
It passes.
Very good. All right, thank you, sir. 8D, 4403, 14407, 14409, 14411 West Tierra Street. The tentative track map for condominium purposes and zone variance. New construction of an 8-unit condo. Total square foot 14,389 with a 30-foot tall. 16 parking spots for residents, 2 guest parking. Zone variance request. Mr. Chairman of the Plum Committee, this got out of your committee just fine?
Yes, and I do have some questions.
Okay, very good. And you look like you're not Julia Lee.
No, I can pretend to be though. It's
That's
a lively
fine.
bunch, so
We have no objection to that, sir.
I'm Mrs. Lee.
All right, there it is.
Mrs. Lee.
All right, Ms. Lee, the floor is yours.
Okay, so we're presenting a 8-unit condominium building by right down the street here on Tierra and Van Nuys, and it's designed in the modern style. Each unit will contain 1,799 square feet, 3 stories, ground level garage, second story with the kitchen and living room areas, and a third story with bedroom areas. And what we're asking, we meet every code, but what we're asking for is, in lieu of the rear area, a small portion of the rear area open space, that we are providing every unit with a open space deck on the 3rd floor for those calculations of that open space to be allowed to be part of the open space area. And we are providing the 2 additional parking spaces required in the rear yard, and that's what we're asking for. Everything else for the apartment, for the, for the condominium project is per code. It's a very modern, very nice area. Required landscaping per code, required driveways per code, required ADA approaches per code, and each guy has its own garage. I don't have a pretty picture like the last one, but I do have, if you would like me to pass this around, I can, but this is pretty much the design of one half of the area.
So each unit has its own garage with direct access?
Yes, sir. Through a central courtyard, and that courtyard is approximately 30 feet wide, and it's paved in grasscrete, so it's not a concrete area, it's a green space, and we're providing the solar panel systems on the roof, in addition to the air conditioning units, which will be screened, and the open space for each unit was carved out
That sounds like those. That sounds
by removing a portion of the top of the 3rd floor area to provide in lieu of the open space at the bottom.
You providing any parking space for visitors?
Those are the 2 guests that we're providing. So we're providing 2 of the required LADBS parking spaces for the guests. I visited the area many times, weekends, weekdays, and there's plenty of on-street parking in the area around the neighborhood, and we don't want to utilize that. We want to utilize what we're allowed to by the rules on the property itself, along with the grass areas, the trees, and that's the only thing that we're asking for.
Another question.
Yes, sir.
How much you gonna sell for?
There's the key.
Market rate?
According to the developer, we're in the $800,000, $700,000 to $800,000 ballpark. That's
Nice.
I have a
In
question.
this neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask a question?
Mr. Lin.
We're on Tiara Street, between where and where?
Tiara Street, if you go down here to Van Nuys to Tiara, make an immediate
$800,000.
left, you would end up about mid-block.
Never sell.
Okay, so just east of Van Nuys Boulevard?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right behind the funeral home.
Oh,
Carino, you had a question, right?
Yeah. One of, at our Plum Committee, one of the things that we asked is outreach. Have you done that?
We've done some outreach to the neighborhood, and we've gotten positive responses, but no negatives at all.
Uh-huh. What about the neighbor that's east of your property? Because he's going to be directly impacted as far as because it's a single-family residence, and, you know, I like to hear, you know, if you did contact him, and if there's any sort of letter of support or something like that, or anything?
We were not able to get a letter of support, but then we were not, he was, the people in the building were very nonchalant about it, just saying, it's okay, it's the street, we understand. That's what we got from it. I wasn't the one personally there, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
This is what hearsay from my office was.
Okay. And I noticed that there's a big tree on your west part of the property. It's not an oak tree, so you're okay. So is there any mitigation as trying to?
We will be providing, I believe it's 1 tree for every 4 units in the area, so there's going to be 2 trees in the front yard, and that is on the site plan, and we do have a landscape architect on board for that, so we're going to be 2 for 1 instead of 1 for 1.
Okay.
And if you would turn to the site plan, which I'm not able to. I don't know if it's done on here or not, but there is a requirement, so we were providing 2 trees, 1 in each area of unit number 4 and unit number 8 in the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, question about open space, because usually open space is about communal space.
Yes.
But you're also you're using open space as part of that third-story balcony.
Yes.
Which is private space.
It is, and we're only using a small portion of the rear open space for the parking. We're going to have 2 dedicated open spaces, 441 square feet on both sides, directly behind the units and towards the center of the units in order to provide the open space. So we're not taking away all the open space.
Yeah.
We're taking away a 9x18 parking stall on both sides, but then we're leaving the rest, and everything is going to be grass, barbecue areas, and stuff like that.
Okay, so that area on the ground level is going to be like a picnic area?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you got to imagine, I just want to add, that the entire central courtyard is going to have the grass look. It's going to have pavers with grass in between with grasscrete. So we're trying to mitigate all the concrete look of the previous dated designs and modernize this whole area by introducing the grasscrete, which is absorbent to water, and it doesn't require pumps or additional electrical equipment to mitigate any of the rainwater. It's going to be used on site itself.
okay.
Karina, you're good?
What
I'm
about,
good.
I'm sorry, what
Move
about
to
like
approve?
rain barrels or sustainability? Are you have any requirements for that?
Yes, that's designed on the side yards. Because we're using grasscrete, the center area doesn't require that because we're filtering straight into the ground. But the sides of the building, which we slope the roofs towards the inner courtyard. Most of the rainwater goes there, but we do have areas on the side yard where we do have planting systems, and the planters themselves act as filters. So we don't want to use just the barrels. We want to use the site itself as an entire filter system, and that's part of the LID requirements. But we chose not to go with barrels. We chose to use planter systems, so that soil is directly open to the soil on natural grade, so the entire water system drains into the natural grade instead of.
Move to approve.
One question. Your project, is it ministerial or is it discretionary?
The only one discretionary action is the open space
Okay, and it has to go through a meeting or it goes through administration?
through administration.
Okay, so you'll receive a determination letter
Yes, sir.
with no public notice?
I can't answer that right now, but I believe you do have to have a public notice for that.
Yeah, after you get the termination letter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So we're very green in the approach of the building. We just want to state that up front. We're sensitive to the environment as architects. We want to be conscious to the waters of California. I know we're all lacking in it, and we want to use as much of that as possible to do a green project. We don't want to go away from that green thing. So it's the upper decks themselves. They're approximately 9 by 9, so it's not like a little patio. We provided the required LADBS patios on the second level that require you for your private open space. But in addition to that, we're carving almost a room itself, a 9 by 9 room that's totally open to the sky. There's no trellis, no cover to that, no anything. Everything is completely opened. So you can use that as your open space as well.
And additionally, on energy efficiency, is there anything being done regards to, I know we were talking about solar on the previous person's project that came to present.
Yes, sir. This has, because of the private use of the units, these all have the ability to add a solar system if the owner chooses to. Again, it's going to be up to the individual owner, but it does have the ability on the roof itself, and we're providing a white roof, not your standard black tar roof. This is a white roof, very reflective, which mitigates a lot of the heating that goes on in these roofs. So again, we're at that position too. We're prepared for that. We've got the utilities in place for it. The meters are set up for that. If the owner so chooses, the solar system goes in. Again, because they're private units, we don't have the ability to sell that to them, but we do give them the option, and all the units are pre-wired for that. So each guy has the white roof plus the solar area for that.
Ackerman.
To me, the mark of a good project is that it has about 15% or at least affordable housing, or 25% is my usual market. So are any of these 8 units going to be below market rate units for people who are looking to move up in life? Because one of the least emphasized tenets of sustainability, which is ecological responsibility, economic development. The third one's social equity, and that's a huge problem here that development poses, especially working class neighborhoods like VNNC. So, are there going to be any below market units in the project?
62, and I.
Not that I'm aware of.
Can there be?
Yes.
That's a developer's.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to answer that best by saying that because of the size and scope of the project, it would not be economically feasible to develop low market rate units in this. We can certainly look at it, and you're welcome. I'll give you a card, and you're welcome to call me. But at this moment, that's a no.
And it's also a supply and demand as well.
Right.
There's 8 units.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make a fortune on these. The construction cost is going to be such that the developer is going to make a percentage, not as high as they would like, but again, it pushes him forward to develop a larger project, and perhaps in that sense of moving forward, we can go and do bigger things. And then by doing bigger things, we can provide more for the community.
All right, so Councilmember Robbins made a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. With that, I call for the vote.
I just want one sort of question, because I know this is a good project, but my concern is the neighborhood, because there is a mix of apartments and also single-family residents. And I think, I don't know, I mean, I'm taking your word that you've done the outreach.
Yeah.
And I want to approve it, so I'm going by your word.
I can tell you this, we tried to do a lot of outreach. We went to the neighborhood. A lot of what we have there is apartments. To the rear is all business. And what this thing does is it would beautify the neighborhood more so than anything. It's a nice modern project.
Oh, no, I'm not dispelling.
and
It's just,
Mike,
it's transparency and letting the people know, so.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
That's my concern.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, I'm okay with your project. It's just, I want to make sure that the neighbors are very aware about it, so it doesn't bite you or bite us, in the end.
I want to put it out there that if there's anybody that needs to look at the project, we are going to have billboards on site, and anybody can come. I have no problem with that. Unfortunately, I don't live in Van Nuys, but if I did live here, this is going to be one of my prime things to actually obtain for myself. We design things for as one of the designers, you design things how you want to live. So I understand where you're coming from.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we could move forward and.
I call for the question. Mr. Secretary, can we have the vote?
President Thomas.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin. Yes. Secretary Hendry. Aye. Treasurer Huck.
Aye.
Ms. Havard. Ms. Meyer.
Yes. I love it.
Mr. Lazarowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton. I don't see. Okay. Mr. Camara.
Aye.
Mr. Anand.
Aye.
Mr. De La Cuesta.
Aye.
Ms. Padden.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn.
Abstain.
Mr. Luna.
Yes.
Mr. Marabi. Gone. Okay. Ms. Raines.
Yes.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes.
It passes.
Very good. 8E, 7005 Lenox Avenue, 3 illegal units at a apartment complex. Representative of the property owner is asking for a letter of support from the board to legalize 3 illegally converted units on an apartment complex. No case numbers provided. Updated motion. Jose Octavio Perez.
George,
Going once.
he canceled. He couldn't make it.
All right.
So table it next.
Very good. 8F, Divas Who Rock, Divas Build Future presentation. Divas Who Rock is a nonprofit organization who would like to present at the general meeting and ask assistance in directing vacancies and establishing their organization in the Van Nuys community. No action to date. Latisse Williams. Did you bring puppets?
No, I have your puppet, but I didn't have his shirt this time.
Oh, there you go.
You want to bring in
Uh-oh. Okay. No naked puppets at this meeting.
no naked puppets at the meeting.
Yeah, that's right. Not in Van Nuys.
Not bad.
At least not on that side of the...
So how can we help you, ladies?
Well, first of all, let me begin with, because I thank you, the president, for acknowledging me. As many of you may not know, and some of you may know, that I came here under Go Baby Grow Baby last year, which is a puppet ministry that was designed to support the community and help young people, children specifically, who were introverted and didn't speak a lot. And I did a real presentation. Some of my young ladies are here, but I'm here standing here now with Divas Build Future. Asia Scott is the founder of this organization, who is going to share more with you about this organization that we have partnered and worked together with now. And I'm going to pass this around so some of you can take a look at it.
Cool.
All right? Go ahead, Asia.
Hello, good evening. You guys look so nice, and aren't you guys happy to be here?
Yeah, always.
I mean, it's 9 o'clock,
Live
you know, we can be asleep, but it's okay. We're discussing community activity, so. My name is Aisha Scott. I am the founder of an nonprofit organization called Divas Build Futures. We are an empowerment, motivational organization for youth girls. We are seeking to bring this program to Van Nuys, the city of Van Nuys, because we feel that it would be a great community activity and program to share with our youth girls. Basically, Divas Build Futures, we desire to create a community of young, inspiring businesswomen who work together to better our community. It can be mentorship programs. We have a different variety of programs that we like to share with you, but first, we would like to tell you what we're here for. We are seeking a space of interest in Van Nuys. It doesn't have to be specifically a certain size. We're looking for a specific space that can hold a studio, dance studio, because some of our activities bring out the character and personalities of our youth girls. As Latisse spoke about, she has a program that breaks down the barriers of young kids that can't communicate with voice or interaction. This helps them create an atmosphere to, I'm kind of a mom and tired, so I apologize. But we are here because we are very passionate about this organization. We are trying to uplift our community of young girls to be better women, better business women, better activists in our community. And one of the programs that we have with the organization is called Diva's Closet. DIVA is an acronym for Determined, Intelligent, Virtuous, and Ambitious Girls to Young Women. So it's not just diva, like, it's actually an acronym for the breakdown of who we think a diva is. Determined, intelligent, virtuous, ambitious girls who fight for their goals, fight for their dreams, college, business women, etc. So this program is basically a donation center. Diva's Closet, we accept donations for coats, shirts, all type of different clothing. We actually saw that There's a pop-up shop coming up for business programs to help the community be more presentable, to go to interviews, dress presentable, and so forth. Diva's Closet will also break down another form of hindrance to young girls, and could be self-esteem, challenges they go through school because they can't afford to have clothing, presentable clothing, you know, smell nice. Every lady wants to be, you know, pretty and feel that way. So what we do is we want to motivate the community to be able to have a better outlook on themselves inside and out, and that would better our community as a whole, just growing up, the children. I brought my kids today. They work with me from the morning to the evening. So they're my support system 100%. We also have an education vision. We focus so strong on our education with our youth, because we know that without their education, they can't really get a job or go on and be self-sufficient. So our education vision basically has a numerous of programs. One of them is a college tour. We want to have a center that can create a place where they can come, they can have computer access, internet access, and they don't have to pay a lot of money. And then it brings back to Van Nuys to show that we are trying to build our community, our streets, our people. You know, Sepulveda has a lot of different, you know, downfalls, but we want to change that. We want to have the girls into programs that they feel good about. They can motivate to go to work, you know, real, you know, jobs that they can be self-sufficient and actually take care of their families and children and become better women in our community. We want to focus on Van Nuys specifically because we noticed, and we've done statistics within our schools, that our continuation schools are very crowded. So what we plan on doing is also introducing this program to the continuation schools, also the high schools of the Van Nuys community surrounding areas, and basically trying to show them that there's an option that you can choose versus just choosing, oh, well, someone gave up on me, so I'm in a continuation school. Well, we want to say, no, you know, you have an option too. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes, so no one's perfect. So this isn't a program that can, you know, hey, here's a second chance or a third chance. And, you know, we can't help everybody, but the ones that are willing and, you know, they just need that extra motivation and push to do what they have to do to succeed. So our education program is very stressed in our organization of women, and we also just want to let you guys know that we have a no judgment zone policy. There is no judgment. We don't judge anyone because none of us have anything that, you know, we can't talk about or we can talk about. So that's one of the things that we stress really major about our organization. Another one of our programs that I will cover, I know it's getting late, but we are launching a Save Our Daughters campaign. This campaign is it's a little unique. It's kind of new. Basically, what we're trying to do is push together a social media internet campaign entitled Save Our Daughters. The concept of it is to push out ways to take the I Encourage pledge so that we can be able to start being more leaders and productive role models to our youth girls. So basically, let me give you an example for my daughter. I encouraged to become a better mother to make sure she could go to college. I mean, that's just an example, but it can be of any. You can say I encourage for my daughter to finish school, or I encourage my niece. It can be niece, cousin. It's who you feel can better in this program, and I feel every woman of every age can participate in this campaign because we all can use motivation and growth in our community. Plus, we need to show our young girls that there's more leaders out here and women. We're out here because we just want to stress that we are, you know, we're eager and we're just ready to help. Some of the things and programs that we've already been doing, we just had a Hoops for Breast Cancer event on the 10th. Very fun. We had some of the communities come out. We brought some shirts and a couple of Save the Tatas, Save the Boobies bracelets for you guys to take. Basically what we did, we invited a community clinic, Vista Community Clinic out in Sylmar, to come out and display free flu shots. She gave away a lot of good information to the people that came out to the event. Basically, STD information, stuff that we don't normally, instill in our youth anymore. We just say, oh, well, MTV will teach them. Well, that's not going so well. So we need to bring a little bit more back to our community when it comes to breaking down the barrier of feeling comfortable with yourself, facing your flaws head on, and being confident of what you want to become in life and encourage your dreams. Yes.
Thank you very much for coming. Just so I'm clear, what's your request?
We are looking for a space. We're looking for support with an area. Not area, well, Van Nuys, but we're looking for a space somewhere that we can productively have our activities and in the community, and somewhere accessible bus line transportation for them to get to our center.
I might have a suggestion for you. So unfortunately, the neighborhood council doesn't have any property.
Right.
What we would recommend, it's me speaking, what I would recommend is you might look at other nonprofit organizations in the area, or a church, possibly. I know churches do offer space. You may want to even check with the Jeopardy program. What are the age of the girls that you work with?
6 to an adult.
6 to adult?
Yes.
Yeah, so they, so you could partner with somebody. That
Right.
would be what I would recommend.
Right.
Other than that, the neighborhood council doesn't have space, and the government here doesn't offer it.
Ma'am?
Well, we specifically weren't. We were asking for just any type of funds, any ideas, sponsorship, things you would want to see in your community change.
501c3 status?
Yes, we have our 501c3. We're a year strong.
Okay.
Divas Bill Futures is a year today, or last week.
Where it was from the Antelope Valley. Do you have anything out here? Because we can't help you in the Antelope Valley. We're in Van Nuys, and it has to be people that it helps our neighborhood, because that's what we're all about. There are 96 neighborhood councils, so you can hit up other ones that might be further out that way, but we have to help our neighborhood. It's in our bylaws, and it's in the charter from the city. We have very strict guidelines that we must follow. And that was why we weren't able to help before, because of the fact that it was out of the area, and Rock of the Valley is a church-related thing, and Kathleen couldn't get one through her church. It wouldn't be fair to try to get one through yours. It's really strict how that works. Church and state separation, it's tough. So.
Well, we are actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We were founded in Apple Valley, California. Right. We relocated about 7 months ago because I was working there. The vision came about in Apple Valley. I now live here in Van Nuys, and my kids go, we're living here.
That part's good, but what I'm trying to say is there's the problem with separation of church and state, and that it's really strict. We can help schools now, something we didn't used to be able to do, but even if it's a 501c, it's really strict. That's why Mr. Robbins spoke up. He works for a 501c. He knows that. So all I can say is that's the training I had. If anybody else knows anything different, please let me know.
Well, we're looking for funding, mostly importantly. We're looking for funding. We're here to actually bring this program to the city of Van Nuys. We're not.
Church.
If you have a specific number in mind?
30,000.
Okay, right. So that would be a big ask.
That would be our.
We're not asking for Van Nuys Council to fund this event. We're asking for ideas and sponsorship programs. You may know businesses to help out with our internship programs for volunteers. It's not specifically coming from Van Nuys. We came here to present this program to you because we want to be able to bring more to Van Nuys City. That's it. We're not here to say we want you to fund $30,000. However, we've been also doing, that's the purpose of the campaign as well, and fundraising and things as such.
Mr. President, thank you. Have you ever heard of Hope of the Valley? Okay,
We've
Hope
heard
of the Valley is going to be opening a new location in this area, and we can connect you with them, and with your permission, Mr. President. Once you establish yourself here in Van Nuys, that's the same, you're not in Van Nuys, you live in Van Nuys, and you have nothing going in Van Nuys. Your program's great. I think it could benefit the Van Nuys community. But if you'd like, I can speak with you afterwards, connect you with Hope of the Valley, the food bank, and then what they can do is try to establish and give you space when they come into the area.
That's
and
what
that
we're asking.
way you
Right.
have a location.
Right.
Then you can come back to this board and say, look, this is what we're doing in the community. We like funding for this, this, and this, because this is what we're doing. Now, they would rather spend more money on banners than kids, but I think we can squeeze a few dollars.
And that's where our objective was, to come in here, that if there was one with some type of way to start our steps in our, us helping build the bricks to this program, that would be great.
First of all.
Anybody have anything else for these
Thank
nice
you.
ladies?
Me.
Yes,
I
Ms.
have an
Raines.
idea. If you haven't already considered coming to the Education Summit next Wednesday, and then also even joining the Education Committee, which will start meeting monthly right after this. And then I can get you, if you come to the event, just let me know like in the next day or two, and you can take this, and my contact info is there. But I can get you a table and a space in that back room, and you can put all your outreach materials, anything that you want to bring, and then you can use that opportunity to network.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
And really, we appreciate what you're doing, and our suggestion is that you want to embed yourself in the community first before you request funding, but what you're doing is terrific.
Right. Well, let's just be clear. We were here to bring our organization, our program to you, to let you know that we are here helping out our community right now. Like, we're doing donations.
Right,
and
but you're
we're
looking
basically
for
helping.
space, so that tells us that you don't have a physical location where you're doing the activities. Once you find that physical location, come back.
Okay. That's no problem. I
here
appreciate
we
that.
go.
Thank you.
And you need to have one of these filled out. I need one more form for you. In a sec.
Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate
I
it.
should have told you, you should have come.
All right, you guys, what we could do is we could try the thing Jay Handel suggested, where we loop all of the votes in together.
Agreed.
And if there is no objection to that, we could do it in a couple sets. I'm looking at the list. 8H is the $1,000 for the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, their annual Thanksgiving feast. If we have no objection to feeding the homeless on Thanksgiving, I'd like to put 8H with 8I, the VNNC, to support the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils Planning Forum. That's $1,000. 8J is the annual March mixer for $500. Let's try that. If there's no objection, I make a
Objection?
yes.
I understand what we're trying to do, but $1,000 a pop, I don't think meets the standard.
Okay, so then what we'll do is go down each vote individually. 8H is up. The Van Nuys Neighborhood Council to support the 16th Annual Family Thanksgiving Feast hosted by the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. The dinner will take place on Tuesday, November 24th, 2015. It's usually at Church on the Way off of Sherman Way, and part of the proceeds will help with food, shelter, counseling, and life resources. Do I have any objection to the $1,000 for the rescue mission?
It's a church, or we'll give it to the rescue.
It's to the rescue mission.
I would like to see 500.
Okay, so Penelope would like to see 500. Do we have any objection to the number 500, or should we vote on 1,000? Where are we at?
What are we doing?
Do we have any objection to changing it to 500?
One very brief question. What is the 1,000 going to get? What is the $1,000 purchase?
Let's
Well, how many-
see. There is
How many
that for
plates
Mr.
of food
Luna.
Does it feed, or how many people does it feed?
I'm trying to get something.
So the motion on the floor is the language in 8H, but the number will be 500 instead of 1,000.
Here we go.
Not to exceed 500.
George?
Yes.
Do you know how much does 500 feed? How many people does it feed? Do we have any numbers on that?
It doesn't say, but it usually, the gymnasium's pretty packed. That I go to this every year.
TRC looks like. Says right on it, City of Los Angeles.
It is the Thanksgiving feast for the rescue mission. Wade Trimmer, April, what's her name, that comes before our council. They did our homeless.
Pictures on the application.
What is it?
And you have all of that.
He was at, Wade was at a NBC event this evening that he needed to do for PR. I would concur that 500 would be a significant and
Enough.
yeah, enough. They do really great work, and it is Thanksgiving, and these are our Van Nuys residents that would be able to partake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Indeed.
minimum donation incidentally is $500.
Mr. President, as you know, John and I work with the rest, food bank, et cetera. They should, as Ms. Meyer says, they should have presented a budget. What is the money going to?
Not only that, they didn't give us an application. I got nothing. I'm just saying I have no paperwork.
Where's our parliamentarian? Parliamentarian, you read the paper? Yeah. All right, in other words, Mr. President, the 500, or if they can hold it over till next month, till, yeah, as Mr. Meyer said, we need a budget. What is it gonna be used for? Are we gonna, remember, they will get donations of over probably 1,000 turkeys. They will get all the food they want. So we're going for food.
They get a lot of
we're getting it
donations.
locally.
Why are we paying
Is it
for
gonna be
anything?
used for administrative? What is it gonna be used for exactly? Do you know what's
That's
gonna
what I would want to know.
Here it just says, a nutritious family-style Thanksgiving meal along with live entertainment and special family activities.
So they're probably gonna spend it on entertainment.
They're looking for sponsorship opportunities
Give them the money either.
at levels from $500 to $10,000.
Oh, that doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, right.
Penelope.
Well, we make everyone else give us a budget. We can't just.
No, we don't have, right, no application.
We have nothing.
Okay, so we'll table it. 8I, the VNNC to support the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils Planning Forum this coming November in Studio City. The VANC hosts this event every year and is a perfect place to learn and train for planning and land use issues. Not to exceed $1,000. Do we have any objection to 8I?
Have we supported this
Fine.
previously?
Yes,
At the same level?
usually.
Okay.
Or 500.
Can we,
Well, 500 for the VANC mixer.
That's the next vote.
Yeah.
We're doing the votes individually.
Do them 5 and 5 if you're going to do it. I don't think they deserve it.
5
Not
and
that
5
we were
sounds
been
good.
dissed.
can we reduce the number to
Absolutely.
500 on?
Because we were dissed.
It sounds like there's consensus on 500.
I'm completely happy with that. So I make a motion that we adopt the language in 8I as is with the number being changed to not to exceed $500. Do I have a second?
Second.
With that, I call for the vote, Mr. Secretary.
Just a second. President Thomas.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin.
Yes.
Secretary Hendry, yes. Treasurer Hop.
Abstain.
Abstain. Ms. Havard
Stepped out.
is gone, okay. Ms. Meyer.
Yes.
Mr. Lazarovich.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton is gone, okay. Mr. Camara.
Aye.
Mr. Anand.
Not here.
Not here.
Not here, okay. Thank you for your help. Mr. De La Cuesta.
Yes.
Ms. Padden.
He just left.
Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Luna.
Yes.
Ms. Raines.
Yes.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes.
It passes.
Very good.
Did you want to vote on this?
Next up, the VNNC to support the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils and their annual March anniversary mixer. The VANC hosts this event every year and is a great place to network and meet new council people. Not to exceed $500. Do I?
Where's the taking place?
Where is the event?
It's at Studio City. It's at the, on the CBS Radford lot.
Okay, so it's the same one on November 12th?
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same event, just different function. One is $500 for the mixer
Yeah.
and $500, okay.
Right.
Do we
Move
have
to
any
approve.
objections to $500 for the VANC mixer in March?
No.
Going once, going twice. All right, so I make the motion, we adopt it. Mr. Benjamin seconds it. I call for the vote on 8J, Mr. Secretary.
President Thomas.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin.
Yes.
Treasurer, Secretary Hendry, aye. Treasurer Hop.
Aye.
Ms. Havard.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Ms. Meyer.
Yes.
Mr. Lazarovich.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Camara.
Aye.
Mr. Anand.
Not here.
Not here. Mr. De La Cuesta.
Aye.
Ms. Padden.
Gone.
Not here. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Luna. Mr. Marabi, not here. Ms. Raines?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Pass.
All right, next up, 8K, the VNNC to take a position on Council File 151138 and to submit a community impact statement. Council File 151138 declares a state of emergency for the homeless crisis in Los Angeles. Our position would be supporting the council file and concurring to the fact that there is a crisis in homelessness.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Do I have a second on 8K?
Second.
Mr. Lazarovitz seconds it. I call for the vote, Mr. Secretary.
President Thomas?
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin?
Yes.
Secretary Hendry, aye. Treasurer Hop?
Aye.
Ms. Havard?
Yes.
Ms. Meyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lesrovitz?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Skelton is gone. Okay, Mr. Camara?
Yes.
Mr. Anand? Away. Mr. De La Cuesta?
Abstain.
Abstain. Ms. Padden? Is away. Okay, Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
It's not very clear.
Mr. Marabi is away. Okay, Ms. Raines?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Passes?
Very good. Next up, the VNNC to take a position on Council File 150974 and submit a community impact statement. This council file was to add an additional $5,000 to each budget. The reason I wanted to put this on the agenda is so we could take a position that we would like to see each neighborhood council get $50,000 a year. If there's no objection to that, I make a motion we adopt the language in 8L with the caveat that our position from the VNNC is that each and every neighborhood council should be at 50 grand.
At least.
Second.
With that, I call for the vote. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. I call for the vote on 8L.
President Thomas?
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin?
Yes.
Secretary Hendry, aye. Treasurer Hop?
Aye.
Ms. Havard?
Yes.
Ms. Meyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lazarovitz?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes. He said yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Martin, lose my track of thought. Mr. Camara?
Yes.
Mr. Anand?
Not
He's
here.
gone. Okay. Mr. De La Cuesta?
Aye.
Ms. Padden? Away. Mr. Lynn? Mr. Lynn? Did you say?
We should get rid of public
Sorry.
comment.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you, Mr. Luna. Mr. Robbie is away.
Maria left.
Ms. Raines?
Yes.
Not the only one.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Pass.
Very good. Next up, 8M, the VNNC to follow up on the possibility of having the LAPD receive online police reports. The VNNC would like to take a continued leadership role in making sure online police reports become a reality in the city of Los Angeles. If you guys remember, we did a community impact statement on this. There's really no vote. However, I would like to assign this to Joseph and Penny just to see where we are on that. 8N, the VNNC to reimburse Councilwoman Stacey Raines for $109 for outreach in regards to the upcoming Education Summit.
Move
I make
to-
a motion we reimburse our council lady.
Second.
With that, I call for the vote on 8N.
we do a mass vote like we? Yes.
Yes, Mr. President, I was just trying to suggest that not $500, but $100, $150, you could set a limit. We could move through those.
Fair enough. But the vote on the floor right now is 8N to reimburse Ms. Raines 10900.
And that needs a tallied vote.
Yeah.
Right, because it's, yeah.
But the rest of them.
Right. Correct.
Okay, we're ready?
8N, I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Hendry, aye. Ms. Hop?
Aye.
Ms. Havard? Ms. Meyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lesrovitz? Okay, Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Camara?
Yes.
Mr. Anand?
Not here.
He's not here. Mr. De La Cuesta?
Aye. Aye.
Ms. Padden?
Not here.
Not here. Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Luna? Mr. Marabi?
Not here.
Not here. Ms. Raines?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Pass.
How did Mr. Camara vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
OP and Q is one.
Okay, O, P, and Q, let's go ahead and make them one full vote. What we're doing is we're bunching them up. The first one is a community impact statement that allows the neighborhood council to accept and support contributions. The next one is pretty generic, that we're going to continue seeking office space. Somebody on this council said that they were looking and they found something.
Me.
Who was that? Was that you, Mr. Benjamin?
I took a
South
look at
of.
it. It looks horrible.
Okay, so, but we can still renew our ongoing idea of hope of getting an office someday.
If we can accept contributions, I'm going to talk to the city attorney about,
Which we now can.
we think we can.
I think that's in a holding
Oh,
pattern
we think
still.
we
It's
can.
still in a holding
Whoops.
pattern. If we can, I'm going to talk to the city attorney about if Mr. Marabi can
Donate office space.
donate office space.
Okay, so I make a motion that we bunch up 8O, 8P, and 8Q into one vote. The 8Q is to look into pressure washing and steaming Van Nuys Boulevard, and for us to seek additional assistance in cleaning up the boulevard. Do I have any objection in combining all three votes?
Can we
I've heard
kill
from-
Q? And
Why,
the only reason-
why would they do that to you, Karina?
What was that?
And the,
Oh
and
my
the
God,
only,
it's so-
the only reason I say that is that Simon and Moishe Bibian have taken on the task of creating a business
Business improvement district.
Are they?
To seek contributions to pressure wash both sides of Van Nuys Boulevard from Oxnard to Van Owen. And
Fair enough. Let's table Q and vote on O and P. Do we have any objection to that? All right, I make a motion, we adopt O and P in the language as is.
Second.
With that, I call for the vote, Mr. Secretary.
Okay, just a second.
We killed
President
Q.
Thomas.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin.
yes,
Dead.
Secretary Hendry, aye. Treasurer Hop.
Aye.
Ms. Savard. Ms. Meyer. Mr. Lazarovitz. Mr. Martin is gone. Okay, Ms. Skelton. Mr. Camara.
Yes.
Mr. Anand is gone. Okay, Mr. De La Cuesta.
Yes.
Ms. Padden is gone. Okay, Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Luna. Ms. Raines. Mr. Robbins.
Yes.
Pass.
All right, 8R, let's go ahead and do this one over again. The VNNC to create the position of Assistant Secretary. Do you guys
Didn't we-
see the humor in
did
that?
this
That's
one.
funny.
Did that.
Okay, come on, because we argued about it for an hour. See,
That's hurting a
come on, all right.
sore right now.
Sorry, I've been up since like 5. All right.
Hey, I didn't sleep all last night.
8S. With
S for Santa.
S for Santa. The VNNC to look into putting lights around the trees and getting the wreaths out of storage and up and decorated. The VNNC to also look into putting up additional holiday decorations. The Van Nuys Neighborhood Council to start the process as soon as possible and celebrate the season. I say we just start celebrating right now.
Anybody got any?
Candido has institutional knowledge on these wreaths. They sit in storage. We argue about them all year, and then they never go up. I've seen them in storage. They're up in the back right. I don't know what we do with them. I don't know.
How
who's
do
in
they
charge of
get
them.
up? How do they?
Don't we need a permit for? Penny's husband used to put them up.
I think now they all have to be permitted.
Yeah, it has to be done by the guys that do the banners. And Howard, you didn't explain the banner problem. Maybe you should do that.
When we get to the banners, we will. But right now, we're arguing about wreaths.
Well, because the same guy will do them both.
Thereabouts.
Is this something that you'd like to do?
And let them display them in the winter.
I'd be happy with that, or we just decorate the government center and be done with it.
Decorate the government center.
At night, it would look fantastic with all.
They wouldn't go south that way.
So, is it our understanding that you really do have to have a wreath permit?
Yeah, I'd rather have
believe
them
so.
here. We wouldn't have to worry about them going south.
Myers is right, her husband did it, he's a wonderful man, but he got away with it. I don't think they're gonna allow it anymore.
No.
So what if we just decorated the government center?
Yeah. Because we won't, they won't
We-
be stolen.
I mean, we could write a letter approving it to ourselves. This side is city, that side is county. Sheila's office will be.
Set up 2 years ago, Mr.
Oh, they light up, but they're not just. They don't light
They
up.
don't. There's no lights on them now.
Okay. Well, I would be totally and completely happy with us planning like a cleanup Van Nuys day and putting up all the wreaths, a couple hours, and then we all go get happy dogs or something.
Do you want
So,
to establish an ad hoc committee to look into it?
sure. I mean, we've done this before, and then all we end up doing is talking about it. Nothing ever gets done.
Correct.
But we can have an ad hoc committee. But I like the idea of just putting the wreaths up around the government center and having the government center feel festive. I can
Agreed.
I can ask Benita with Sheila Kuhl's office if there's a permit. If not, let's just
Do it.
yeah. We'll talk to Hertzberg. We'll talk to Adrien. So, but let's actually get the wreaths up this year. That could be my crowning achievement as president, is that the wreaths finally went up after 4 years, and maybe I could take a picture with them, and it could make the local paper. I don't know. So the wreaths are going up. We'll have those up by Valentine's Day. Very good. And finally, 8T. Council Vice President Howard Benjamin would like to purchase an additional 86 banners for the Van Nuys area. The banners will be installed at major intersections throughout Van Nuys and the VNNC to use the same rendering of the banner and logo, not to exceed 10,000. Do we have any objections to this?
By splitting it.
We never talk. We come on. We haven't argued enough tonight.
Can I,
Miss Raines.
like, maybe take some of that money, because you know what I've seen? I don't know if you guys have seen any benches by like a bus stop, but I've
Yeah, we
seen,
had
like,
one
Valley Village Neighborhood Council has their thing on a bench.
We
So
just got
maybe
some in Van
not
Nuys.
like 10,000 worth of banners, but 10,000 worth of banners and benches and whatever else.
You
Split it
have
up.
to have,
Somewhere
the bus
We
benches
just
that
got one
support
in my neighborhood.
Putting your ad.
putting the, yeah, and all of the ones that are in Van Nuys are wrought iron, yeah. There's a private company that has offered to put up bus benches for free if we pony up the advertising dollars.
Got enough.
Just saying, like, to look for other ways to put our name, because especially when I saw that bench, I was just sitting at a red light, and then I was like, oh, so
Yeah.
it is something to notice.
Yes.
Have a poster.
Do you know
Fair
the
enough,
banners, there's more of them, but they're like every fourth pole.
Just have a
Luna, Candy, then Donna.
So I'm going to try to make this really brief. This is the one item that I actually prepared for.
Yeah, he's gonna say no.
I actually prepared a little bit of a statement.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. One, I'm going to give you my view on outreach. I'm going to name 3 points, and then I'm going to have a conclusion. We all know that outreach is important. It gives people the awareness that we exist, that we're here to serve them. It's important. Outreach is important, and we need to do it right. My first point is that purchasing these banners may not be our most financially prudent decision. I support that premise with these questions. When we purchased banners last time, did we get our money's worth?
No.
Do we have any data showing that any new stakeholders were engaged because of the banners that we bought? And my third question is, would buying these banners be in line with our outreach goals, assuming that we have written outreach goals? I don't know if these banners compare to other options more favorably or not, but without answers to these questions, it's premature to spend a quarter of our budget on banners. My second point is that there are other ways to spend $10,000 if we're going to spend that in outreach. Off the top of my head, Facebook ads, Google ads, canvassing. With 10 grand, we could have the best website in the entire neighborhood council system. It would be better than LA City's website. We could have a Chamber of Commerce membership and really engage the business community. We could hire a PR firm and a marketing firm to do a complete brand reboot. We'd be the most professional looking neighborhood council in all of Los Angeles. That's what 10 grand buys. My third point, my last point,
Way more than that.
is that we don't need any outreach. We really don't. Last fiscal year, we had more people asking for money than we had money. There's no shortage of people that could use our help.
Right.
I don't know that we need to go out and find more people that need our help. $10,000 could very well be spent on the actual stakeholders. $10,000 on the stakeholders would fulfill our mission as a council. So in conclusion, spending 10 grand or a quarter of our budget on banners is not financially responsible. If we're going to spend 10 grand on outreach, there are much, much better options that include the ability to track the effectiveness of that option. However, and this is kind of the big point, we don't need banners. Let's spend the 10 grand on the people. I yield back.